All right, you're listening to another episode of the Ask Swenk Show. This is episode 51. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about how do you stop being pulled into your client projects and work? What do you need to do when your clients won't sign your contracts? And why do I charge for my programs?
I'm Jason Swenk, and I'm answering your questions. And this is Ask Swenk.
So let's go ahead and get into the first question. And Simon actually has two questions, so good job, Simon. It says, I have a couple questions that have been running around my head ever since I started listening to your show. So I'm glad you're listening. Sorry if they come out being a little direct. I'm just an inquisitive person. No problem. So Simon says, everyone says a business owner should work on their business and not in their business. However, we're a very small team of 5 senior people. The biggest challenge we're having is hiring talented senior people who can not only run client business, but also grow it. Simply put, we don't have enough money to pay the high wages they command, and our clients don't want to pay that much either to have someone manage their accounts. I therefore get dragged into managing the client business. All right, so many of us have this challenge, and I had it as well until I started getting through it. There's a couple problems that you're running into. One is you're taking on the wrong clients. Like you said, the clients are not willing to pay for it. Two things is maybe you have the wrong prospects that are coming in and you're taking on the wrong clients. Because a lot of agency business is done on referrals. And so referrals hang out with other people that they know that are like-minded and like them. So you're going to keep getting business that you already have now. And so what I tell people is you've got to constantly always think about how do we upgrade and how do we get better and better? And it's about creating that lead generation system in order to getting those new clients that will pay for it. The other thing it comes into is maybe you didn't communicate well enough of what you actually, the value that you actually deliver, or you didn't position yourself good enough in order to do that, because people don't buy or make a decision based on price. They make a decision based on urgency. And if maybe you didn't create the right urgency, maybe you didn't position it right, there's a lot of things that go into it. But at the end of the day, it's probably because you're not charging the right amount, because you said you can't afford the higher end people. It's going to cost you more right now hiring someone lower end that you're going to try to train. It's always like every interview I do on the Smart Agency Masterclass, when I talk to successful agency owners, I ask them, right? They always say, I wish I hired higher and better rather than hiring lower and trying to train them to get there. All right? It's just every one of us says that. So if you're not there yet, think about how can I raise my pricing in order to position that, in order to put some money away, in order to afford to get those people, or even get creative with the people you hire and pay them creatively, like have salary and then bonuses and certain different things to measure them in order to get them up to the salary that they need to be. Because you don't want to hire someone like the right person at a really low salary. I've done that before as well. And they'll do it just temporarily until they find that high paying position that they're used to. And you'll lose them. And then you lose all that time, that training, and then you're back to square one. Cool? All right. So your second question, Simon, is just out of interest. If you sold your agency for lots of money, I'd assume you're set up for life and can live off savings. If that's the case, why aren't you giving away your playbook for free? So it's very simple, right? I did that in the very beginning. I used to give that away. But what I was finding is when you give stuff away, people are not going to take it seriously and they're not going to go through it. So the amount of people going through the program weren't doing it. And then I started charging very nominal fee for it. I think I originally started charging like $99 for it. And the people that attracted were a different kind of people, really, really good people, but they weren't the people that we were targeting for the higher level services, okay? They would never go to the top, or most cases they wouldn't. And the success rate from them actually going through the program went up a little bit from the free. But I was like, well, what if we charge $1,500 for it? Something that they really have to think about in order to make a decision. And I wanted to see what kind of people that would attract. And instantly when we did that, everything kind of changed and we started attracting a lot, the more people that we're going after. And the success rate of them paying for the program and actually going through it went through the roof, which that's why we do what we do, is to help and have people go through it. The other thing is I give away so much on this show, on the podcast, on the blog. Like 80% of our knowledge is given away for free anyway. So, we wanted to kind of do another tier level up. And lastly, when you're an entrepreneur and you're building stuff, you're a builder. You want to create and you want to grow. And I'm not just doing this anymore as a lifestyle business. It originally started off as a lifestyle business and all of that. But now I have visions to creating a $1 billion brand, making this a lot bigger than what my agency was, because we all want to grow. And I love building stuff and I love testing things out. And I also measure myself on a couple different things. I measure myself on how many emails do I get from people a day saying like, hey, you've changed everything, thanks so much. The other part that's easy to track is on revenue. If people are buying my stuff, I know I'm doing my job and I'm putting out really valuable content that helps them out and my marketing's working. So then I can communicate back to agencies and my clients of how to work. Cool? Makes sense? Got it? But yeah, I mean, and the cool thing around this go around is I don't have to make decisions based on money anymore. I just do them on what is right and what I truly have a passion for. And I truly love doing this. I mean, it's so cool to be building this for right now. But if that ever changes and I don't have passion for it, then you won't see these goofy videos or me doing all this stuff. I'll be going and find to do something else. But for right now, I absolutely love what we're doing. All right. So last question. Tim asked, I've got a local client who is taking issues with my contract. Nothing in the contract, but the fact that I have one at all, in their words, we do relationships, not contracts. Oh boy. The entire document is essentially terms and condition agreement that covers liabilities and outlines work processes. So once we sign it, it stays on file. How do you handle contracts in a way that makes them approachable to clients? Well, you don't have issues with the agreement at all. You have issues with this prospect. This prospect can become the worst nightmare. I mean, anytime I ever heard people say, hey, I do relationships with people, not contracts, freaking run away. You do not want this client. And I bet everybody watching this is saying, yes, like that they've been doing this for a while. Run away. Like literally, it's not you. Do not try to form this agreement to them, because they are a nightmare prospect that's going to turn into a nightmare client. Remember, I tell you, there's no bad agency client. There's only a bad prospect or a bad process. This is a bad prospect. Now, if they had small issues saying, hey, well, I don't like this terms of like payment terms or cancellation, you can work through that. But if they don't want to sign an agreement at all, freaking run away. So just run away. But if it's small little things, then go through it. And just tell people why you do the agreement is, hey, it's to protect you and me, right? Because the reason why, like, we want to keep everybody on the same page. Like, if from what your expectations are to what our expectations are, as well as let's say something happens to me, it's documented, or let's say something happens to you, it's documented, right? And just for liability purposes, all that kind of stuff. Like who owns what, right? I mean, all that kind of, so don't, just run away from this guy. They're a complete nightmare.
I want you to join the conversation. Make sure you comment and subscribe. Thanks for giving me your most valuable asset, your time.